Hi everyone. This video is about what I eat on my weight loss journey. How about starting with some spaghetti squash? Simple and easy, done right in my Instant Pot. 1 cup of water, 25 minutes, and it's done. Split it open, seed it out, and shred your spaghetti squash. Also, in the Instant Pot, a nice fresh head of cabbage and fresh carrots, just steamed in water. So delicious. Stuffed turkey, peppers, so good. Basic ingredients, so simple to make and so simple to cook. And yes, I am so proud because I even ventured out with some salmon. Fresh salmon, and a new way to cook it for me, which was steaming it. Had it with some brown rice and spaghetti squash and fresh tomatoes, and that empty plate right there is a sign that it was good. Stay tuned for my video. So I dug out a blast from the past, and I'm sharing some Weight Watchers info from back in the day. Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Thanks so much to all of my returning subscribers, and if you're new, I would love to have you join my channel and my good family of friends here, and just hit that subscribe button. Today I just want to talk to you a little bit about my weight loss journey and a couple of just adjusting a couple of other just little odds and end things that I just kind of want to mention to you and not forget about. So as I said, I have been on Weight Watchers now 16 weeks, and I am down 2 ounces minus 13 pounds. So I'm very, very happy with the progress. I am definitely enjoying the program this year. Since I've joined, I just think it's satisfying, easy to follow, very filling, and sure, I've had 1 or 2 days where I just felt like my hunger wasn't quite in the control I wanted it to be in, but I didn't really binge or like just go crazy. I just made a choice for some reason, trying to figure out, okay, what was I lacking? What am I craving? And so that's worked out really well. But so for example, my weight loss has been pretty consistent. Now, I am not going to be a slave to the scale, and I said that from the beginning. And part of my commitment to this year was to pay better attention to the foods I eat, my health, and really, really wanted to shed some weight. And so in this commitment, I do not want to be a slave to the scale, but as part of the Weight Watcher, thing, you have to go in and weigh in every week. So I've been consistent with the weight loss, but I've had 2 weeks where I have had no loss. So 1 week I think I gained 6 ounces. Last week I gained 2 ounces, but in between that week I had lost 4 pounds. So it really evens out on a pretty consistent 2 pounds, 2 pounds. This week I did notice that I had a little more hunger on a couple of days, and I couldn't figure out why, because I went through my food diary and I looked at what I had eaten, and I might have been a little bit low on the protein, and so maybe that's why I just felt a little bit hungry. And so what I did was I just thought, I'm just going to portion out a size of peanut butter. I had rollover points. I knew it would be covered, and I just ate it. I just ate the peanut butter. I think I grabbed a couple of slices of celery, and it was fine. I ate that and I made a good choice. I made the right decision. And even though I might have gone over on the peanut butter, I could have used my powder peanut butter for reduced fat and caloric count, but I just went ahead and ate it and I felt satisfied. It certainly prevented any kind of binging, and so I was really satisfied with that. Now, I had a super busy week last week, just crazy running around. I had to do some extra little babysitting for my granddaughter, which is always a joy and a pleasure, but it just kind of takes me a little bit off track, and so I didn't have as many meal ready prepped foods in the fridge. Usually I do 5 salads, a couple of different varieties of them, so they're ready to go, which has been a lifesaver. So many times I've been out running errands, running around, come home, I'm starving, and I can grab one of those great salads that I have shown on other videos where I've added protein and fruit and lots of greens and chopped up carrots and peppers and celery and tomatoes, and just really satisfying and filling. And also I make overnight oats, and I usually do 3 or 4 a week, just depending on what else I have that's in reserve in the freezer, because I've made English muffin, egg English muffins, and I freeze them individually. So I try to rotate so that I don't get bored with things. I think that's really important too. Be prepared. Don't just always eat the same foods. Challenge yourself and step out. Now, I am really challenging myself to add more fish to my program. Now, I love tuna fish, but of course I love it in olive oil. That I just love that. So I have to just watch how much of that I'm giving myself. I love white fish, but of course, you know, fish and chips, fried, you know, yum. So I watch the kind of fish, and I am really trying to incorporate more salmon into my meal plan. And I'm just a little skittish of it, you know. I know, like, my husband loves salmon patties, and early on in our married life, he's just like, please make salmon patties. My grandmother used to make them all the time. I love them. So I thought, okay, if that's what he wants, I'll make them. So I buy the can of salmon. He told me what kind to get. I open this can of salmon, and I'd never cooked salmon before, especially salmon from a can, and I just thought, it's rotten. This is bad fish. That is awful. I gave it to the cat. I mean, I just thought, this looks like fish cat food. He said, you gave it to the cat? I said, yeah, I did what you said, and I peeled away like that center bone stuff, and it just looked all dark, and there was skin, and he goes, that's salmon. That's what it was supposed to look like. Well, the cat enjoyed it. Anyways, I just said, I'm sorry. You know what? You just need to visit Grandma for your patties, because I can't make them. So I have tried to eat salmon, like, out at really good restaurants, and I've ordered it, like, you know, grilled salmon, and it just depends on the type of salmon, because there are some types of salmon that I feel, for my taste, it's too metallic. It's too fishy. And I mean, I've had to ask for it boxed to bring home so that, you know, I just pass it on to my husband, because he loves salmon. He loves all kinds of fish. So I used to get a meal at TGIF that was a salmon, and it was called dragonfly salmon, I think, or dragon, and it was grilled, and it had a sesame, soy, ginger sauce on top with a little bit of, I think, chili paste, because it just had a little bite to it. Loved it. I loved it. Every time I went to TGIF, which I don't have one close to me now, but I used to just order it all the time, and it's been such a long time I don't even know if they still have it. But anyway, I just loved that salmon. So I decided that I would try to incorporate more salmon into my diet and meal plan. And I went to the grocery store the other day. Now, I have purchased some salmon fillets through Sam's that my mom likes, and it's just a fillet, you know, with the skin on it, and I just put it in the oven, bake it for her or whatever. And I don't know, it's the skin, it bothers me. And of course, yes, I know the nutrients are all in the skin, but I just can't bring myself to get to that point. But I went to the grocery store and went to the fish area, the fish deli, and they had fresh salmon, and they had 2 pieces of the salmon left. He said, yeah, these are my last 2. And it was filleted and the skin was removed. I said, I'll take them. So I decided, okay, I'm going to do this. And it just so happens that Saturday, when I was going about my cleaning, I love to watch my PBS shows on Saturday that I usually record. And Jamie Oliver, who's just a very, well-known, famous chef, love his cooking, happened to be making salmon steamed. And he used a regular kitchen colander that he inserted into a big pot, and he put a certain seasoning mix on it, and he steamed it. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to make my seasoning mix with soy sauce, fresh ginger, sesame oil. I could have put some sesame seed on it, but I just let it out so I didn't have to count that so much as the points. And honey. And I believe I used half a teaspoon of light soy sauce, half a teaspoon of sesame oil, half a teaspoon of honey, and then just a bunch of grated fresh ginger. And I keep my ginger in the freezer, so when I'm ready to use it, I just let it sit out for a bit. I just kind of grate the outer part and discard it, and then I just grate the rest and wrap it back up and stick it in the freezer. So I marinated the fillets in that little mixture, and then I put a pot on with water to boil. Now, he was making fresh green beans, and he was cooking his green beans, and he just put his pot on top of it and steamed his fish. But I just put my colander into the pot, and I put some water at the bottom, and I laid my fillets in there, and I just steamed it. And I kind of kept an eye on it. I let the water come to a nice boil, turned it down a little, and just watched as the salmon turned to a nice color, and I knew it was done. And it was just so flaky. It was so moist, and it was so flavorful that I just fell in love with that salmon. And so I ate one, and I made some brown rice with it, and I had some spaghetti squash and some lettuce and tomato and cucumbers cut up, and I was just stuffed. It was so delicious. And then I have another piece left, and I'm just going to crumble it on one of my salads that I made for this week that I didn't add the protein to it because I was either going to add some chopped up grilled chicken or tuna, and I'm just going to use the salmon and eat it up that way. So it was really good. So a new adventure, and it's like stepping out of your comfort zone and just really just putting the thought in your mind that I'm just going to try something different. Am I lacking in all of the omega-3s that I could get from the skin? Probably, but I just have to, walk up that ladder just one step at a time, and maybe I can get to that point. But for right now, just so happy that I ate that nice piece of salmon. And I also wanted to share something with you that, along this journey, like I said, I am not concerned with the overall number on the scale. What I'm concerned with is, how do I feel? How are my clothes fitting? What am I basing my weight loss on? And doing it slowly. I do not have to be in a hurry for this, because I am of the opinion that losing weight is really relatively the easy thing to do if you make a commitment and stick to it. It's keeping it off and maintaining it. It's learning. I eat good foods. I truly do. I have for a number of years. I just get out of control with portion. And then when I'm feeling stressed, or having those, anxious days of, just crazy, and it's 6 o'clock and I haven't eaten all day, I really try to stay away from it. So sorry. My simple human mirror is lighting up. I try to stay away from that and avoid that. So preparation for me is key. Documenting is also key, so that I can go back and look at, why do I feel hungry today? What is it? Is it an emotional eating day? Is it true hunger? Am I skipping out on lacking something? That's very important. Of course, the commitment to wanting to have better health, and with all of that being said, incorporating some exercise. So the weather is very warm where I'm at, but very nice, and so I'm trying to get out and at least walk. I'm not in any hurry. I'm not in a rush. I'm just trying to make it a habit. If it's 10 minutes one day, that's great. If it's 20 minutes, that's great. And just build up getting to that habit of, spending that little bit of time listening to a podcast or a little bit of music, or just being outside and just shutting off the rest of the world and just enjoying being outside. So I'm also working on incorporating more of that exercise into my plan. But I wanted to share with you, I'm going to cover this other part up, because this Weight Watchers magazine, and this is from December of 1987, and this is the cover of it. And guys, that's me. Yep. Oops, I'm trying to protect the privacy of others. Right there. Yep. And end result right there. 60 pounds I lost. At the time, this picture was, of course, after having my child, and I actually weighed more in that picture than I did all the way through the end of my pregnancy. It was after baby was born. Even though I nursed, I put on the weight. And so I did get down to, and as you can see, even back in 1987, still had my hair in a bob, but I had gotten down that 60 pounds, and in that picture I was down to 120 pounds. Now that was a little bit on the, for my age at that time, and it was a little bit too, because I had had a surgery in between this weight loss, which automatically just kicked off another like 10 or 15 pounds, and of course doctor said, okay, stop, now I kind of got myself back up to about 128, 130. And I just set in my head, didn't want to ever go past 135. I was comfortable there, and I did it for many years, kept it off. And then life happens, things change. We moved, we were transferring. It was a huge move to us, a big ordeal, and you just get off track. And so this time I am totally committed to not getting off track and keeping myself in good health as long as I can, for the duration of my life. I think it's important, and I adore playing with my granddaughter and getting down on the floor, because that's where she wants me. And let me tell you, I have had some times after being down on that floor to get back up. Not easy. So gonna avoid that because, you know, she's so full of life and joy and energy, and I don't want to miss a second of it. And I want to be just as full of energy as she is, if not more, because she can and does tire me out in a very wonderful, joyful way. So I wanted to share this with you, and also just what I've tried, that I've tried something new, and really that's it. And so also just to mention, I do have prepped in my freezer, and this is just all part of food preparation. I have some leftover crustless quiche that I made that's frozen in individual segments. Really good. Cheese, broccoli, eggs, super good. All on program. I think I'm down to like my last light English muffin egg with Canadian bacon in it. So good, easy. I have it all wrapped. I stick it in my toaster oven for a few minutes, put it on, 4 or 5 minutes. It's all nice and toasty and so good and easy, because then I don't have to stop and think about what am I going to eat. And I also have frozen in different little containers spaghetti with homemade sauce on it. That's all on program. And also stuffed peppers. And the stuffed peppers, I know I've showed the picture in another video of me making it, but I think I'll just go ahead and mention the actual recipe that I use. I make 4 peppers, and I use the green ones. Now I love the red and the orange peppers, and I use those all the time in salads because I think it's much sweeter. But for my stuffed peppers, I love to use the green peppers. So I take a pound of, for the 4 peppers, you can use 2 pounds, so just up everything, but I did 1 pound, and the stuffing was even with the peppers and not mounding over. So I used 1 pound of lean turkey meat. I used a half a cup of long grain rice. I used half a cup of the breadcrumbs, the Kiko Man breadcrumbs. I forget the name of them right now. I used 1 egg, lots of seasoning to your taste. Now I like to add thyme, I like a garlic, I like chopped up onions, fresh onions in it, pepper, salt, and just sprinkle of see, just because I'm not sitting here thinking about what I use, I want to say A1, and it's not Worcestershire sauce. Sorry. I just like to sprinkle it over, get that little bit of flavor from Worcestershire sauce, and just mix it all up. And then stuff the peppers. I stick them in my crock pot, and then I pour a can of fire roasted tomatoes over with just a little bit of water. Now you can use sauce to mix with the fire roasted tomatoes. I've done that, and cook them in my crock pot. I know some people add fire roasted corn. That's really good in your meat mixture, and I've done that. And then I just cook it on low for about 4 hours. They're done, and I believe the way I make them with the sauce, I think each pepper that I'm eating, counting what I have to count for points is the breadcrumbs and the rice. I believe my peppers come out to about 3 or 4 points. And so those I will keep one out, and usually I'll eat half of it because I like to serve a little potato on the side and a salad or vegetables, and it's so filling. And then I have the other half for later in the week. It just depends. Sometimes if I'm just doing a salad and no starches and I'm just going to eat the pepper because I've got the added rice in it, then I might eat the whole pepper, and it's fine because I know how to count it for points. It's so simple and so easy, and if you don't want to use ground turkey, use beef. It's just a simple, easy recipe. And I know sometimes I've had conversation with family and friends like, oh, I don't make stuffed peppers, I like them, but it's too much work. No, it's a bowl, mix it all together, stuff your peppers, throw it in a crock pot, and you're good to go. So that's really a good recipe, and I have a couple of those peppers left in the freezer. They freeze really good, and they're still as good and flavorful as when you before you put them in. So I just wanted to share those couple of little things with you. And tomorrow, Tuesday, when I go for my weigh-in, I'll let you know how I did for the week, for last week, and hopefully what my loss is. But it's a great program. I'm happy with it, and I just wanted to share it with you. So until next time, be kind, be humble, age gracefully. Bye.